Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily. Monday motivation. Who's ready to get Christmas week off to an absolute flyer? It's Des here, of course, just checking in to try and instill some positivity, some inspiration and some motivation to get the absolute most out of a time of year when we really should be celebrating. Last week on Monday motivation I talked about getting into the Christmas spirit, and as much as I spoke about it myself, I felt it last week. The things that are going on around us really affecting us, the news, the situation with COVID really kind of upsetting, and by Wednesday I was finding it just a little bit tricky. But as the week really went on, the weekend sort of embarked on us. I had the DOdaily Christmas do on Thursday, lots of exciting things to do at the weekend, and it was absolutely brilliant, and I don't feel guilty for that, and I think that's really going to be a really important message today. There is lots we've got to be cautious about. I'm as sort of pleased and as proud as anybody that I managed to get my jabs and my booster quite early in the role I work in the NHS. I was lucky enough to get those, and I've done all the things I need to. But I think what we also need to do is just keep doing the things we're allowed to enjoy. And right now, getting out to something like this, I made a big point of it today. Me and Kay have come to the Christmas Market in Nottingham, something that was cancelled last year. And it's not everything, but it's just a chance to get out and about. In the last 18 months, we've not come into the city centre that much. Nobody has really, have they? So it was a chance to sort of get in town, have some nice food, have a few nice drinks, and really sort of build on that anticipation. Like I said, the last few days have been all about sort of picking up that spirit, doing things that I probably did 2 years ago. Personally, I went to the football match, and the last football match before Christmas was always a special occasion, especially when Forest win. We always look forward to the rest of the season, the end of the season, and it was exactly that as well. Seeing lots of people through various social events, that was really nice as well. And like I say, that's all really important, isn't it? Whilst there's that sort of caution, and we know what might be looming on us, so right now we've just got to make the most of it. But the message I really want to sort of pass across today is kind of related to that. I've spoken the last 4 or 5 years about why I do this, what brought me to this position where I want to talk about the things I'm doing, this kind of self-development journey. And it was at a point when I wasn't feeling very well. A lot of bad things had happened to me. I'd been struggling to sort of stay on top of my mental health, where that tram is really annoying, by the way. Every time it comes around that bend it screeches. But regardless of that, I was in a position where my mental health had just deteriorated to the point I wasn't really looking after myself. And I had a few issues, and I was actually told at one point that I might have bowel cancer. And it was at that point where I really kicked in. What I'm trying to do today is almost relate into that and think, things don't always have to be terminal, do they? I was told this thing, I remained positive for it. It was hard, it was a bit of a wake-up call. And from that point of realising that I'm not invincible, I've actually sort of not lived every day as if it's my last, because I'm not that negative, but I've lived every day with positivity, enthusiasm, and tried to be that little bit better. I don't get it right every day. Some days I fall back into bad habits. I do the wrong things. I get involved in some of the things I kind of suggest we shouldn't. But then we just go again, don't we? But like I say, it wasn't until realising that, at that point, I'll be really honest with you. You kind of walk around as if the Grim Reaper stood behind you, and it's your last moment. You wonder what people will say at your funeral. It's really tough, having that sort of information told to you. And in the last couple of years, I've had family and friends who've been given that kind of news. Fortunately for me, the situation wasn't that bad, and like I say, I could pick up from it. But I've had friends and family, and when you realise they're not invincible either, you start making the most of them. You start making the most of people around you. And this is what I'm kind of getting to with this whole COVID thing. It's not something we need to be complacent about. You know, it is an issue. I do believe in the science. I believe in everything that goes on. But the reality is, if we follow the rules, if we do what we're told, do you know, nobody should really complain. Do you know, we've all got a life to live. How long can we put this on hold for? How long can we sort of keep putting it off? Keep sort of saying, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, we're not going to get involved in this. Do you know, because we only have one go. This is the absolute classic example of putting your life on hold. How many times in your life have you been told not to sort of wait around too long, not to sort of do too much and waste time? And we're being asked to do that to some degree. But right now, we're allowed to do lots of things. We're allowed to go out, we're allowed to enjoy ourselves. This time last year, we absolutely wasn't allowed to do that. Do you know, and like most, I'm sure I followed the rules the best I can. But there comes a point when you've got to go, we have to move forward. And again, I'm not arguing with the science, I'm not sort of criticising anybody too much today, but the reality is that we have to sort of realise that, do you know, one day we're all going to die. Do you know, and I'm not, of course we all want that to be one day later than many days, but the reality is, do you know, at this point, do you know, at a time of year when some of us can sort of struggle, do you know, I'm fortunate, lots of nice things have happened to me this year. Do you know, I'm surrounded by good people, do you know, and I'm really, really loving life right now. The last few months have been absolutely amazing. Like I say, I'll have my blips, I'll have my ups and downs, I worried, you know, I struggled, you know, from day to day, but I remember the things that worked for me. And like I say, the party last week, the football match, getting back to that routine really put me on a high. Do you know, I managed to do lots of good things, and all I could see almost was people criticising a little bit, do you know, trying to find fault, trying to be clever almost. Do you know, the reality is, it's about what we want to do as well, isn't it? It's about, lots of us are grown-ups, lots of us try to make sensible decisions, and if we can make decisions that don't affect others too much, but that put us in a good place, then we'll be absolutely fine, won't we? And that's the message I want to sort of put across today. Like I say, we've got to be cautious of what might happen. When it does happen, if it does happen, you know, we're going to have to stick to what's told of us. But right now, you know, we're allowed to do things. I made a point putting out there that I'm coming to the Christmas market tonight because I'm really, really looking forward to it. And the reason I do things like that, it makes me accountable. You know, it makes me accountable for my own actions. I don't hide behind things. You know, when I make a decision, I generally stick by it. You know, and that's all that really, really matters to me. You know, I don't hide behind false social media names or something that's not strictly true. You know, all I'm trying to be is myself, honest, relatable, and that's what it's all about, isn't it, guys? When you're at comfort with yourself, and like I say, it took me realising that I wasn't invincible. I wasn't arrogant by any stretch of the imagination, but I made mistakes before, you know, and I made big mistakes. And some people might look at me now and go, who does he think he is, saying this, that and the other? Do you know, anything that happened before that point where I realised I wasn't invincible, do you know, I'll probably take on the chin. It won't be nice. Do you know, anybody can say anything, do you know, everybody's got their opinions. But I also read something today and shared it on my own social media. Do you know, when you sort of get a crappy response to something, when people criticised, I had a little bit of that over the weekend, what are you doing this for, what are you doing that? And you write out an explanation, then you actually think, I don't even need to explain. That's when you're happy, that's when you're comfortable, and that's when you're prepared to do what you have to do. And that's the message today, guys. You know, of course, look out for each other, look out for your loved ones, but you've also got to look out for yourself. And that's the message I'm trying to put across here. It's about being happy and content and doing what we need to do this Christmas. Last Monday, it was a sort of geeing up for Christmas spirit, and it didn't quite work for me. You know, if you watch the video, you'll see it didn't quite pan out that way. This week, I'm saying let's go again. You know, I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to give it everything I've got, do all the things I do, still use the motivations, while some of the things I do week in, week out have closed down for the Christmas period. I'm still going to use these motivations to try and find a way to get through it, you know, and then Should the worst happen, you know, we'll have to deal with that. But for the time being, we have to make the absolute most of everything we've got, everyone we've got, and everything we can do. You just have to remember last Christmas, you know, the awful feeling when you was having to pick and choose, you know, not invite people along, not do things, you know. That's not what Christmas is about, is it? It's about being around people, enjoying people's company, enjoying what you do. So until tomorrow, guys, and Tuesday trading, hopefully you've taken the message on board there, whether you agree with me or not. Please drop me a comment. You know, I'd love to hear what you've got to say. And of course, please give a thumbs up to the video and subscribe. That'd be absolutely amazing. I'm working on targets all the time, still getting through this Advent challenge, still looking to get these 200 subscribers. So please subscribe if you can. Please tell your friends, you know, anybody who might be interested in watching how somebody normal just deals with everyday life. You know, I've got an opinion, I've got my thoughts. Like I say, whether it's right or wrong, I'd love to hear what you got to say. Until tomorrow, guys, from Nottingham, just doing it.